is really amazing. I think this is like unprecedented at any point in human history that a technology has improved this much this fast, and the fact that we have this tool now, we're like living through it and we're kind of adjusting step by step. But if we could go back in time 5 or 10 years and say this thing was coming, we would be like, probably not.
Let's assume that people haven't seen the headlines. What are the top line specific things that you're excited about? And also the things that you seem to be caveating, the things that
Yeah.
maybe you won't expect it to do.
Um, the thing that I am most excited about is this is a model for the first time where I feel like I can ask kind of any hard scientific or technical question
Hmm.
and get a pretty good answer. And I'll give a fun example,
Yeah,
actually.
please.
When I was in junior high, or maybe it was ninth grade, I got a TI-83, this old graphing calculator. And I spent so long making this game called Snake.
Yeah.
It was a very popular game with kids in my school. And I was like pro when it was done, but it was like programming on a TI-83 was extremely painful. It took a long time and it was really hard to like debug and whatever. And on a whim, with an early copy of GPT-5, I was like, I wonder if it can make a TI-83 style game of Snake.
Hmm.
And of course, it did that perfectly in like 7 seconds. And then I was like, okay, am I supposed to be, would my like 11-year-old self think this was cool or like, miss something from the process? And I had like 3 seconds of wondering, like, oh, is this good or bad? And then I immediately said, actually, now I'm missing this game. I have this idea for a crazy new feature. Let me type it in. It implements it, and it just, the game live updates. And now I'm like, actually, I'd like it to look this way. Actually, I'd like to do this thing. And I had this very like kind of, yeah, this experience that reminded me of being like 11 and programming again, where I was just like, now I want to try this. Now I have this idea.
Yeah.
But I could do it so fast, and I could like express ideas and try things and play with things in such real time. I was like, oh man, I was worried for a second about kids like missing the struggle of learning to program in this sort of Stone Age way. And now I'm just thrilled for them because the way that people will be able to create with these new tools, the speed with which you can sort of bring ideas to life, in that's pretty amazing. So this idea that GPT-5 can just not only like answer all these hard questions for you, but really create like on demand, almost instantaneous software. I think that's going to be one of the defining elements of the GPT-5 era in a way that did not exist with GPT-4.
As you're talking about that, I find myself thinking about a concept in weightlifting of time under tension.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, it's you can squat 100 pounds in 3 seconds or you can squat 100 pounds in 30. You gain a lot more by
Yeah.
squatting it in 30. And when I think about our creative process and when I've felt most like I've done my best work, it has required an enormous amount of
You have to sit there and
cognitive
struggle.
time under
Yeah.
tension. And I think that cognitive time under tension is so important. And it's ironic almost because these tools have taken enormous cognitive time under tension to develop. But in some ways, I do think people might say people are using them as a escape hatch for thinking in some ways, maybe. Now, you might say, yeah, but we did that with the calculator and we just moved on to harder math problems. Do you feel like there's something different happening here? How do you think about this?
It's different there are some people who are clearly using ChatGPT not to think. And there are some people who are using it to think more than they ever have before. I am hopeful that we will be able to build the tool in a way that encourages more people to stretch their brain with it a little more and be able to do more. And I think that society is a competitive place. Like if you give people new tools, in theory, maybe people just work less, but in practice, it seems like people work ever harder and the expectations of people just go up. So my guess is that like other tools, some people, or like other pieces of technology, some people will do more and some people will do less. But certainly for the people who want to use ChatGPT to increase their cognitive time under tension, they are really able to.
Mm.
And I take a lot of inspiration from what like the top 5% of most engaged users do with ChatGPT. Like it's really amazing how much people are learning and doing and, outputting.